Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Another Tuesday here on Hospitality Today Live. I'm Deborah Gardner, your host, and we are so grateful that you are here with us because I know you're going to really enjoy today's show. As you know, we always have some amazing guests that have great perspectives, opinions, stories, lessons, and so much more. But today, I want you to meet a very special lady. Her name is Barbara Bruce, and Barbara is the National Sales Manager at Poco Diablo Resort and Spa, located in one of my favorite places in the whole world, Sedona, Arizona. And the thing that is so unique about Barbara is she is a 30-year veteran in the industry, and she has such a passion for creating memorable experiences for all her guests and groups that come into the resort, and such meaningful experiences that she creates along with the entire staff there as well. And Barbara is actually going to talk today about something very unique that we haven't talked about on the show yet. We're going to actually hear her story on her transitional journeys during COVID-19, how she went from one job to another and back again. I'm sure many of us have been experiencing that as well. And also, what propelled her to even do this? And what are the similarities and differences between jobs that she has been doing during the COVID-19? And how does this affect her personal life, like her family life, along with her perspective on the value of the long-standing relationships in the hospitality industry and how we've been so resilient during these difficult times, and so much more. I can't wait till you meet her, and I hope you'll be asking a lot of questions. Bring on the comments because she'll be ready for the challenge. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, we are here with Versatour as our sponsor. Let the site tour come to you, Versatour.com. Well, I am so delighted to have my special friend here, Barb Bruce, as our special guest this Tuesday, August 31st. How are you, Barb?
Oh, fantastic, Deborah. Thank you so much for the invitation to join you. I am thrilled and honored to be with you on HTL today.
Well, we are excited to have you because I know you're a big fan of HTL, and as I am a very big fan of Poco Diablo. As a matter of fact, I always say to you and the staff, this is my favorite place on earth. And I don't know if everybody knows about Poco, but it is one of the best kept secrets, and I know we're going to talk about that. But first, I want you to share with the viewers about your background, because you've been in it for 3 decades now, along with myself. And so I'm sure a lot of people want to know, who is Barb? What's she all about? How did she hang in there all this time in the hospitality industry?
Oh, thank you. Well, I started in hospitality when I was in college. Actually, stepped foot into food service and hospitality at the same time. I was living, of course, I was at the U of A, and in the summertime, living in Prescott, where my family lived, and worked at the Prescott Resort and the Hacienda Inn in their restaurants, and ultimately then in the sales and conference services offices. That gave me a taste for hospitality, and so as I returned in my college years to Tucson, I started at the Westward Look Resort as an intern in public relations, and then ultimately when I graduated in 1991, I started in international sales and that aspect of hospitality, welcoming those groups. And since then have been representing beautiful resorts throughout Arizona over the last 30 years. So it is certainly in my spirit, in my blood, to be part of hospitality, and I'm thrilled to continue in that.
And you are very good at it. There is no doubt about it. You are very well known, especially in the Arizona hospitality world and beyond, I'm sure. But everybody knows who you are. When people think of Poco, they think of Barbara Bruce, which is really a great compliment overall. And I know that you have such a great story to share on your transitioning journeys during COVID-19, like a lot of people have been going through, which is amazing because, again, you are Poco, and our family and myself and my husband, we love Poco. As a matter of fact, I know, I have to share. Is that okay if I share? I got to share some pictures. Got to see these pictures. These are really, really fun. Of course, first of all, there you and I are on property overlooking the beautiful landscape, which happens to be a 9-hole golf course, and that beautiful patio that has the fire pit as well. But this definitely has a beautiful restaurant overlooking even the mountain, all the vortexes in there. I've got, oh yes, you're very dog friendly. You're very dog friendly. So that's one of our main reasons why we love it there. As a matter of fact, our previous dog Chief loves, the grounds there as well. Plus, of course, there's a couple of photos of the Poco Kings, which again are part of my favorite. Of course, there is no bad room on that property. Everybody has a great view of either the mountain terrain or the golf course. And there's the golf course. Of course, Chief really enjoyed as well. And people can actually get
the decks.
Yeah. And people can actually get married right there in the middle of the grounds. This is a beautiful gazebo that is set up for your wedding there. But of course, we got a chance to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary, and look at you and your staff went above and beyond. Since my husband and I got married in Hawaii, we of course, love all the different colors. And of course, your chef made us a cake as well. Totally enjoyed that. And yeah, we were celebrating our anniversary there. But here, here's the beautiful view of this property. And I know I can't sell it as well as you can because I get very emotional with this property. It's very spiritual, very, very sacred to us. And I'm sure many people that come here as well. Did I do a good job?
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that beautiful reminiscence of your visits to Poco Diablo Resort over the last, 10 years.
Yes.
You and Jerry discovered Poco for visits with Chief, and you brought your family and friends over the years, each one of those visits being very special. And it was just about this time last year, we were celebrating your 20th wedding anniversary here at Poco Diablo Resort.
Right.
Thank you.
And we returned again this year, there's no doubt. But then there was that transition when COVID started, that there were some decisions to be made. So can you share your story behind that? Where'd you go and what were you doing and how did this all play out?
Oh my goodness. Well, and thank you for asking. My hope is that in sharing a bit of my story that others in hospitality and meetings events that have been shifting through this time of COVID recognize that there are opportunities within hospitality and outside of hospitality in abundance, that our skills and what we bring to others through our service and hospitality are needed out there in the market. And really what happened through that transition at this time last year, we were nearly 6 months into the pandemic and all of the changes and shifting that were happening as a result. I know early on, I think we all thought it would be a couple of weeks or a couple of months and then groups would be back. I recall that when the governor reopened the state of Arizona on May 8th, Poco Diablo Resort was fortunate to receive leisure business. And with that, we had every anticipation that our groups would return through the summer and through the balance of the year. And then one after another, each group started to reschedule and rebook into 2021 and beyond. And we jumped into a mode of learning hybrid meetings and digital marketing. I trained with Holly Zoba with influencer sales in order to become more adept at that and helping our groups to look at hybrid meetings as a solution. And so very much last summer was immersed in that. and really believing that at least through the balance of the fall, that those groups would be able to carry on their meetings as planned. The impact became deeper and deeper with each one that rescheduled. And in the midst of that, I was contacted by an executive recruiter that I had been recommended to for a position within retirement living and senior living. And they had said that they'd had a lot of success in applying the skill set from hospitality into their environment within retirement and senior living, that a lot of what they look for are the same skills. And so I was open to that by virtue of being recommended and appreciative of that, but really had no intention of leaving hospitality or Poco Diablo Resort. I wanted to persevere through these challenges and support our Poco team as we welcomed groups back. We just weren't sure how long that would be. And in the midst of that, actually welcoming you last August for your 20th year anniversary, I remember talking with you about that and the impacts that we were seeing throughout our industry. Ultimately, within a month of that, I had an offer from the senior living community and really struggled with that decision, struggled with the desire to remain in hospitality, carrying on that 30 years of when I started, and really my vision to carry my full career through hospitality. And so I struggled with whether or not, if I chose that opportunity, if I'd be able to return, also whether or not we would see a return of group business that would enable me to continue on in my role. Poco Diablo Resort was fortunate to be a resort that remained open throughout COVID, thanks to the leisure business and demand of Sedona as a destination. Even with our groups rescheduling, we were able to remain open and serve our guests. And what really triggered the decision was when I received that very last group of ours, an association group that rescheduled from what we had designed as a hybrid meeting for November of 2020. They ended up rescheduling into 2021. And that conference of 150 people that we thought we could carry on as a hybrid meeting, when they shifted, I realized that the impact was going to be deeper and longer than I had imagined. And that perhaps applying my skill set from hospitality into retirement and senior living would enable me to serve others, to be able to create a meaningful experience for them while we're waiting for groups to return. And so I did accept that position and found meaningful and fulfilling work, purposeful work in that. And yet my heart has always been in hospitality, and I'm thrilled to be able to return.
Well, that's wonderful, because either way, it fits you with the kind of skill sets and talents and knowledge that you do have in the hospitality industry. And I'm sure the senior living community really appreciated what you brought to the table for them. But of course, we want to be selfish, and that we're glad you're back within Poco. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that. So it had to have been a very interesting experience that, again, not only you are dealing with or going through, but many other people are going through. And that's the beauty of the hospitality industry. We have the skill sets, we've got the talents that we can utilize anywhere. And that's how lucky we really are. So, but thank you for sharing that, because that was a very tough decision for you. Like, again, many people are making, but things always work out for the best. So Poco definitely is lucky to have you back, and we're lucky too as well, which made us want to come back this past summer as well. But and although now that the hotel industry is making a comeback, in a sense, all your attention and effort, like you were mentioning, in the groups that are coming in. I was just reading the Star report that in July of last month, the U.S. hotel ADR and RevPAR were really strong. But because of the inflation this year, it's not as strong as the 2019 numbers. But occupancy was the highest for any month since August of last year. What do you think that's telling us here?
Well, it's actually been transformational to see the shift in the industry over this past year. In the midst of everything closing down and for so many months, everything being quieted because of COVID, once things were reopening, everyone was ready to travel again. And so the leisure business demand globally has been much higher as a result. After being pent up for however many months, individuals that chose to travel again, families that wanted that experience of being together and experiencing new destinations were able to get out there, and that has really propelled higher occupancies. I know for Poco Diablo Resort, our leisure business is really what has sustained our resort over the last year. And then just really since spring, I think with a higher level of vaccinations and just I believe that people generally know how to protect themselves and each other with that much more mindfulness.
Right.
And so those that are comfortable in traveling are doing so. But it also translates to the meetings and meetings being able to resume. So as of this past spring and really starting this summer, groups at Poco Diablo Resort have returned. And I was thrilled to be able to step back into Poco and welcome the groups that had rescheduled from last year and that had been anticipating their events for so long. And with our team, really create the experience that they had been envisioning more than a year ago.
Sure.
And so we have a very busy fall ahead of us.
Oh.
And we've seen various properties throughout Sedona and around the state that have a higher level of occupancy now because the leisure business still is higher and the groups are now starting to return.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it seems like the groups always follow the leisure whenever we go through these kind of these situations, no doubt. And so the idea of you transitioning now back to the hotel side of it, that had to be how did that affect your family life? Going from one job to another and working all through this entire pandemic. How's the family?
Well, thanks for asking. My family has been in a whirlwind as well, with my children online school, and my husband also in an industry that has had sharp increases due to the response from COVID. And so I'd been at Poco Diablo Resort for 8 years prior to leaving, and I'm now starting my 9th year. And so certainly there had been a lot of stability with that, and of course travel back and forth to Sedona and beyond as I serve the group business. And so suddenly I was shifting into a position 3 miles from my home in Prescott. Much closer to home. So I was able to be closer to home for my son's senior year of high school, which was a blessing. And yet also given a very, in senior living and retirement living, it is like hospitality in that it is open 24/7.
True.
It's a community that requires that level of service and attention. And so I was working comparable hours, full immersion as I was pouring myself into that new position. And yet I was closer to home. So the commute over 3 miles took about 8 minutes. And so it was nice to be closer to home during that time, shifting back into hospitality and back to Poco Diablo Resort. Of course, I've been traveling more. I've been on site at Poco practically daily since I returned. And that is because of just needing to shift into readiness for all the groups that are arriving.
Right.
And many of our Poco team have remained, and there are many new team members that have joined Poco. And so for us to prepare for those groups, requires that dedicated time. And so they have seen and experienced me traveling again and being away from home more.
Right.
Now they have 2 children in college, and my husband is still working crazy hours. We just pour ourselves into all that we're doing. Very thankful that we've come through this pandemic healthy and with the provision that our family has needed to sustain us and to be able to serve others during this time.
Yeah, and you certainly do that well. And you are a hardworking family, but also a very loving family. You do a great job of of working in the hospitality and balancing family life, that's tough. And you do a really good job of that. So I want to commend you on that for sure, because that's a tough thing to do. Now, what is your perspective on the value of long-standing relationships in the hospitality industry? Because, going to another job, coming back, you're meeting new people, you're leaving some friends, that kind of thing. What is your perspective on the value of relationships in the hospitality industry?
It's tremendous, actually, to see the depth of relationships that we have within our industry. Having worked in hospitality for 30 years, there are relationships that I have with colleagues and clients that span 20, 25 years, and many clients whose groups I've been able to serve at different of the resorts that I've represented over that time. And so in leaving hospitality, I wondered, how to carry forward those relationships. Many of those relationships, my coworkers here at Poco, many relationships that are colleagues within MPI and AZSAE, clients that I've worked with for 20 plus years, have become friends. And I wanted to stay in touch and remain connected. Although we've all been in full immersion of these transitions. And so the staying in touch part is the hard part. It's through LinkedIn and Facebook and those social media connections that we catch glimpses of each other. And so the actual return to Poco Diablo Resort to rejoin my team members here, and then to begin to reconnect with clients whose groups were coming back, has been so uplifting, so fulfilling to see those relationships just so well taken care of. And actually, when I went to the AZSAE leadership retreat, which was the end of July, that was the first in-person industry meeting that I'd attended in more than a year. Since February of 2020 was the last MPI meeting I went to. And the excitement for all of us coming together as friends and colleagues in the industry, for all of us, was just incredible to experience. It was the rekindling of those friendships and relationships and the opportunity to carry forward together.
Yeah, it's like a reunion, isn't it?
It really has been. And I'm looking forward to the next AZSAE and MPI meetings in this month ahead for that very reason.
Yeah, I remember my first one was PCMA this summer right here in my backyard, practically at Desert Ridge. And wow, that was really inspiring. It was really a great homecoming to really see all our friends and colleagues and peers again. It was just so much fun.
It is a homecoming.
It really.
We see that these relationships span beyond time and place.
Yes.
The depth, the genuine connection within our friendships, personal and professional relationships within the industry that have carried over through so many years, and we're there to support each other throughout this past year.
Yeah, it is very true. Very true. Well, so Barb, was there anything that when you're reflecting back through all of this chaos that this whole mess that we've been going through, is there any lessons learned on your part that you would like to share? Because we all, there's always a silver lining from something like this. And of course, this was a different rodeo. This was a different animal, and it certainly was a beast. But was there anything, that you really said, oh my gosh, this is something that I really learned about and can utilize moving forward?
Through this past year, I think for all of us, it reflects what's most important in our lives. We recognize through the hardships, physically and emotionally, personally and professionally, there have been so many deep layers of impact from COVID, and to such a wide circle of friends and family and clients, that I've seen what is most important are those relationships in our lives, is being mindful and respectful of how to protect and take care of others, doing work that is meaningful and purposeful, and that you're investing yourself in genuinely, to make a difference to those around you, because each one of us, each of our stories, we've had hardships in this last year.
Yes.
There have been losses of loved ones, losses of job, loss of income, and yet the gains from that have been just recognizing within our relationships, within the work that we do that is purposeful and meaningful, that those make a difference in our lives. That helps to sustain us through the toughest of times.
Right.
And have lost some friends in this past year, and friends of mine whose parents had declined and passed. That heartache is real. The sacrifices and the challenges that we have faced collectively and individually throughout this past year are very real. And so there's a sensitivity that comes with that, knowing we are thrilled to reunite and surge forward and build something new together as an industry, but being sensitive to what we've experienced in this past year, because we've all faced those hardships and persevered and overcome together. And I'm just thankful for these connections that carry us forward in hospitality and meetings.
Well, I couldn't have said that any better than you on that note, because that definitely is key to looking back at what is going on here. As a matter of fact, we've got some of your fans on here right now. We've got Randall Rainier, who's also a fan of the show. He said, good, encouraging message, Barb, getting through a tough 18 months. So Randall totally agrees with you. We also have Visibly Media is here, who really agrees with you. We don't know someone else's path, trials or tribulations, kindness first, which very good points, very good points. And I have to say that the gratitude part that you're talking about is really real as well. And we just want you to know how grateful and how we are toward you and Poco as well. Again, I have to say it, Poco Diablo is my favorite place to stay on earth. Hands down. And I travel a lot, right? But you are Poco. When you think of Poco, you think of Barb, and very, very grateful for your friendship and all that you do as well. And I want the viewers to see also that we received a wedding gift, a wedding anniversary gift from Barb, which happens to be all the pictures of what we actually experienced while we were there with everybody that we love and adore. So this was really special, Barb. We really enjoyed this. I'm just sad that you had to hang on to it for about a year before you could give it to us because of COVID.
I'm so eager to reunite with you.
Such a sweet gift. We really appreciated this, and we'll treasure it all our life, and every year something to reflect on as we continue to keep coming to Poco. But we really appreciated your story. Again, many people can relate to that. It was just so nice to hear this vulnerability out there because it's real, like you said. And we're all in it together. Now, I know people are going to want to continue to talk to you, and I would love for them to contact you. We have your email and Poco's website to experience. I'm almost afraid to tell people about this best kept secret place. I do have to say, if anybody gets a chance, when you're going to Sedona, please check out Poco Diablo. Is there any other way that people can get in touch with you?
Well, through my work cell phone as well, which is 928-499-2833.
Okay.
And Poco is also embarking on a multi-million-dollar remodel. In the 9 months that I was away, we have new owners, new management through Aimbridge Hospitality, and they are investing deeply to take Poco to the next level for our guests and our groups.
And I can't wait. They've already started on the renovations the last time we were there.
We have.
Great company.
By this time next year, Poco will be again transformed.
They have definitely a great vision for this property. Again, it's a staple property in Sedona, and anybody and everybody needs to check it out. And again, Barb, we want to thank you so much for sharing your story. And gosh, I'll be seeing you at more events coming up real soon as we return back to face, right?
Yes, looking forward to that. Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well, there you go. I just wanted you to meet my very special friend and a great, great salesperson for Poco Diablo Resort and Spa, and what she has been going through this past year. I know many of you can relate as well. And if you want to see this episode again, by all means, there will be some replays on our Facebook page, LinkedIn, and YouTube as well. And please share it with others as well. Again, not everybody's been going through something, and I know this one really probably hit home with a lot of people. But we do want to hear any comments or suggestions or advice, or maybe you want to be on the show. Contact us at hello@Hospitality Today Live. And we want to thank our sponsor, Versator. Let the site tour come to you, versator.com. And any questions, again, you know how to get in touch with us. So I'm sure now you want to know who is up next. Next Tuesday, same time, we have Carrie Abernethy, who is the CMP, CEM, and CSEP, and she is also a lead meeting planner and CEO for Ultra. A woman with a drive is her whole motto, and I can't wait for you to actually meet her because she's going to talk about equality and diversity in events. Careers. She's going to talk about creating a career in the association market in particular that she hangs out, and how women in events actually make a difference in associations, and what her post-pandemic work looks like, which means she's going to tell us what she's going to do in the future with her business, and how she has helped others through chaotic times and burned out. So that is what we're going to talk about, a little bit more serious topic, which is a much needed topic as well. So thank you again for joining us. I'm Deborah Gardner, your host here on Hospitality Today Live. And remember, if you're thinking about it, we're talking about it right here on HTL. See you next week, everybody.